ano passou, tempo correr.
And we're back. This is Artist on Art. Nada Milkovich here, your host. I've got Kaya Lindsay and Scott McGilvray here in the house talking about the short film movie that's happening at the Rio Theater October 28th at 7:30 p.m. called Water for Santa Cruz County. Scott McGilvray is a water conservationist, expert, and educator, and was able to create this wonderful movie with his son, Chris McGilvray of Six Fingered Films. Welcome, Kaya and Scott.
Thank you, Nada. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Nada.
Thank you for coming on the show. This is a movie that's been in creation. I know that you had your premiere last year, but it's been worked upon, or?
Well, this is a second. This is a follow-on movie. We did Water for Santa Cruz last year in July. You were good enough to interview me for a while, and the film was well received. And the problem of a water supply for Santa Cruz has not gone away. In fact, it's been accentuated by the drought. Mm-hmm. So this is a deeper look into the problem. It's now countywide. It's called Water for Santa Cruz County because some of the problems that some parts of the county have, some of their needs may be met by the excesses that the other parts of the county have.
So you're talking about the different watersheds and how maybe some of the watersheds are a little more under duress than the other watersheds. Is that what you mean, Chris?
Well,
Scott? Excuse me.
That's a part of it. Certainly, we need to share the San Lorenzo River watershed to a wider area than just Santa Cruz.
Right. And so this one will also be the Water for Santa Cruz County involves interviews with countywide water officials and water treatment plant operators and county water resources director.
Yes, we've spoken with a number. The reception, the willingness of people to talk has really changed in the last year. Mm-hmm. And the willingness of the people inside the water businesses that work for our county and our cities to consider new ideas is a really refreshing change in the atmosphere.
So you're saying that it wasn't quite like that last year?
That's right.
And so do you think the continuing drought has caused people to have to imagine a little bit more?
I think that the realization that the desalination plant proposal was extremely unpopular and had lots of problems with it, finally shook the city of Santa Cruz officials out of their position mm-hmm. that was what we were going to do. And the water director retired. We have a new water director who doesn't have preconceived ideas, and she has encouraged her people, Rosemary Menard is her name, she's encouraged her people to be open and speak with members of the community. And there have been a lot of good ideas put forward that a year ago were not allowed to be discussed.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes,
now, I want to just talk to Kaya for a second. Kaya, you've been helping Scott McGilvray with Water for Santa Cruz mm-hmm. County. You still have your you have a company called Water
Aware.
Yeah. And that's still going on?
Yes, that's
mm-hmm.
right.
And so, Kaya, how have you been helping this?
So I do social media and event promotion. That's kind of like the nuts and bolts of my job. For Scott, I'm pretty much the community outreach coordinator. And so I wanted to mention when he was talking about the attitude has changed. I've noticed, because I do a lot of talking to people, and people are interested in what I'm doing. They're like, oh, water alternatives, what is that about? A lot of people are really excited to talk about their ideas. People want to talk about how they're saving water, what their options are, and everyone has an opinion on it. And so that's changed from last year, especially. And I think that drought definitely has something to do with it. The fact that the drought has gotten worse or that it's still going on, people are waking up to the idea that we're going to need water. We need water. and it's exciting to come up with solutions, I think.
Yeah.
So, I do social media. I do Facebook. We do Twitter. We're on Facebook at Water for Santa Cruz. And we're also on Facebook at Water for SC. And
wateraware.com?
wateraware.com is Scott's company, and then Water for Santa Cruz is kind of the non-profit benefit organization.
Does that have a website also, or is that more through Facebook?
No, it's just more through Facebook. If you want to get a hold of us, if you want to find out more about the event, you can definitely go to facebook.com/Water for Santa Cruz. And I post things every day, and I'm constantly talking about things that are going on in the community, new updates as far as policy changes and things like that go. So,
and there was a conference October 16th. Isn't that correct? Here in Santa Cruz?
The Civic Auditorium.
In the Civic. Tell us what you found out at that conference.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Me? Okay.
Well, both of you.
Well, what I discovered is that there's a lot more ideas out there than I had previously been exposed to, because hanging out with Scott, he kind of narrows it down to his favorites and brings me those solutions, and I'm like, oh, those sound really good. And then I went to this, and people are really thinking about everything. And I don't think necessarily that all of the solutions could come up with the 900 million gallons or 2 billion gallons a year that we need. But there's some really cool ones. Like, adding in composting toilets. There's people are really excited about that, and getting gray water systems installed, and making better incentives for rainwater catchment systems built into your home, and like that kind of stuff is like the fun little things on the side that would help in the long term, but it's not going to give us the immediate benefits of 2 billion gallons a year.
So, Scott McGilvray, what do you see as some of the best ideas out there to help us in the future in our needs for water?
The ideas with the most promise in terms of large-scale change have to do with capturing the water that runs down the San Lorenzo River in the winter that is not needed by the city of Santa Cruz, not needed by the fish, and presently just dumps into the ocean. To be able to capture that water and put it into temporary storage, either Loch Lomond Reservoir, perhaps one of the many abandoned quarries in the county, eventually putting it back into the groundwater basin that is the Santa Cruz Mountain watershed. That really has enormous potential. It requires some infrastructure to get it to start, but it has very good potential.
Excellent.
Second thing is we have to share this with Soquel Creek that has no surface water rights anywhere. And then in the longer term, the reclaimed water stream is presently dumped into the ocean as waste. And that water could be treated to a higher level, sent up the north coast for purposes of irrigating the Brussels sprouts fields, and possibly, even more important, down to Watsonville, the bottom of the county, where the Pajaro River Valley Basin is overdrafted 1 billion gallons a year. We have the resource here and have no use for it, and they are in a very dire situation, overdrafting their groundwater table.
And what about using the stormwater overflow that happens, somehow capturing it before it gets dumped out into the ocean? Is anybody talking about that?
I haven't seen any proposals that that can translate that into a meaningful additional supply. You'd have to find a way to put it someplace and then pump it. If you can put it into the river and then you can pump it from the river, you've already done that.
Right.
The promising long-term potential for stormwater catchment would be to detain it on your property higher up the hill so that it could percolate in a basin and not get into the stormwater lines unless it's an overflow situation.
Right.
Those are small projects, and they will make a difference over time.
All right. Well, you need to all come out on October 28th to the Rio Theater and see this wonderful movie. I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. The first one was beautiful. It was beautifully done. And Chris is the producer of this other one.
This is Chris's movie.
Of course. Water for Santa Cruz.
Filmmaker.
He is. Six Fingered Films. Water for Santa Cruz County is a short 20-minute movie that examines short and long-range water source alternatives And it's Scott, you're the main character. Would you say that goes?
I'm the producer of it.
The producer, the thread, the narrator.
Yes, I'm the narrator.
Storyteller.
And you being the water conservationalist expert and educator that you are, while you're interviewing city water officials, water treatment plant operators, the county water resources director, and others. Again, this is at the Rio, October 28th at 7:30 p.m. If you'd like to get tickets, please go to the Facebook page, Water for Santa Cruz.
Or you can buy them at the door.
And then you can go to wateraware.com, which is Scott... .net, excuse me. Wateraware.net, which is Scott McGilvray's water conservation business. Yeah. And okay, I gotta go. Hey, folks, everybody, thanks for listening. Up next is Shamrock.